Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to work on crock pot recipes. This one is a lasagna casserole, and you will have to do a little bit of prep work to begin with. You'll have to cook 1 pound of ground beef with an onion that is diced. And so I've already got my insert here and I've already sprayed it. And then I'm going to put the meat in. This is done in layers. And then we have a part 2 to this, and we'll do all that later on after this has had time to cook. Okay, let me get all this off the spoon. Okay, and then you're going to pour your spaghetti sauce on top of the meat. You're not going to stir it, just pour it on top. And then you need a can of diced tomatoes, not drained. You'll leave all the juice in there. Pour that on top as well. And then, I know this is going to sound weird, but 3 tablespoons of taco seasoning. So I'm kind of, not wanting to do this either because I feel like it's not the right thing. It's just regular lasagna. But I figured it has it in the recipe. We'll try it and see how it goes. Okay, so you're going to stir this now that you got everything in there. Stir this up. Okay, you're going to cook this on high for 3 hours or low for 5 to 6 hours. And then I'll come back and we're going to do the rest of this. Okay? I'll see you this afternoon. Okay, y'all. So we got to the end of the day, and my sauce is all come together, warmed up good and hot. So the next thing we're going to add is we're only going to add a cup of our cheese, mozzarella, just a cup, okay? And you can do ricotta, but I'm going to do cottage cheese. And I need 3/4 of a cup of that, okay? And we got to add our noodles. 12 ounces. I did bow ties. You can do elbows, or you can do let's see, you could do elbows, you could do bow ties, or you can do shell pasta. It wouldn't be the tiniest ones, and it wouldn't be the jumbos. It would be the in-between ones. I just call them regular size. Okay. And I'm going to let this cook for just a minute. You're going to cook it on high for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and we'll put the cheese on the top because I want to be able to make sure that all these noodles get done. So I'll come back in about 30 minutes. Okay, y'all. So I've got this pasta just about cooked all the way. I kept stirring it because I want to make sure. I don't really like the whole cook the pasta as you go thing. I would rather cook it separate and add it in. It's still not the texture I would like, but we're just gonna let it cook for an extra 15 or so. And while it's doing that, we're gonna put the lid on, and that way this can melt. And then that will be the end of the recipe. So what I'll do is after all this is done, I'll come back with the finished product and let you see it. I'll see you back here in a few. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. I don't like, throwing noodles into whatever before cooking them. So I guess this is going to be okay recipe. For those of you that like that and are okay with that, then it's probably the perfect recipe. Me, I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy it too much, but it did go well. It was a really easy dump and go type thing, except for you have to cook the meat and the onion beforehand. So take that into consideration. So let's take a look at our next crock pot recipe. Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we are going to work on another crock pot recipe. This is going to be crock pot scalloped potatoes, and this is perfect to go with any kind of holiday leftovers. And Easter was just yesterday, so we are going to have this with our leftover ham. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is get you about half an onion, slice it, and saute it with a tablespoon of butter for about 4 or 5 minutes, just enough to soften the onion. So half a cup of onion, do that, or half of an onion. And then the next thing that you need to do is we are going to mix up the cheese sauce in this bowl. So you're going to need a can of cream of chicken soup. And this is the 10-ounce can. I always take forever to get these cleaned out. I wish they were easier to clean out. Okay. Okay. A cup of cheddar cheese. And this is mixed with just a little bit of leftover pepper jack I had. So I'm just gonna not worry about that and just stick it all in and not worry about it. Because it's hardly any pepper jack at all. So it's a cup of cheddar. You're gonna need about a cup of your heavy cream. So this is 1.5 cups. I'm gonna have to leave about half in there. Half a cup in it. Which I think I poured just a teeny bit too much, but it should even out once it's in the crock pot. Move this. Okay. All right, now the salt is a little bit tricky with this, so I'm going to try to follow the instructions like I'm supposed to. All right, so we're going to need some thyme, and you're only going to need about a half a teaspoon of that. And this is just dry thyme. Okay. You're going to need about a teaspoon of garlic powder. Got that in there. You're going to go ahead and sprinkle in your pepper, which is about a half a teaspoon. And then all the salt, we're only going to do about a quarter of a teaspoon. Which is going to end up, by the time we're done, the salt is going to average about 3/4. Yeah, 3/4 of a teaspoon. I was making sure. So 1/4 is going to go in your cheese sauce. 1/4 is going to go on top of the potatoes. And then your second layer of potatoes, there's going to be another 1/4. So that's how that's supposed to ration out. I added a little bit extra pepper. Just to taste. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if I can move this back instead of cleaning everything up. Okay. Hopefully, I will get this right. Alright, can y'all see? Yeah. Okay, so I used Yukon Gold potatoes. I sliced them as thin as possible. And you need about 3 pounds worth. Let me see if I can show y'all. If I can show you how thin. Okay. But of course, if you have some sort of slicer or something that you can use, of course, do that. So what you're going to do with your potatoes is you're going to half them up. And you're going to put half in the bottom of a sprayed crock pot insert. Okay. I'm just kind of throwing them in. I'm not really focused on anything in particular. If they're stacked together, it's fine. It'll be fine. Okay. First thing that you're going to do after this, I'll get my hands kind of cleaned up. You're going to sprinkle the potatoes with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm using kosher. And then I believe we had all of our onions now. Yeah. All of your onions. And then you're going to use about half of your cheese sauce. Just do about half. I'm going to spoon it out because I don't want to mess up my measuring. Just a tad bit more. Okay. All right, and then we're going to move on. I'm not going to stir. We're going to move on to our next thing of potatoes, which would be the other half. It's about 3 pounds worth. I think you have a little bit of leeway there, you know, if you want to go over a little or under a little. I don't think it'll make too much difference. Just try not to go overboard and do a whole 10 pounds or 5 pounds of them, unless you're going to double everything. Okay. All right, we're down to the last couple. All right, and I'll dry my hands off again. And we're going to put in the remaining, a little bit of salt. I did just a teeny bit too much. Teeny bit too much. And remaining sauce. Let's see if I can get this out with a rubber spatula. Now, usually I like to have more sauce than that, but we're trying to follow the recipe as best we can. Okay. All right, now here comes a little bit more of the tricky part. The last of the heavy cream you're going to go ahead and pour over. So it should be about a ½ cup's worth. Pour that over, and that is it. So what I'm going to do now is grab some paper towels to put in this. And you're going to need at least a double layer. Just hoping this will fit. Yeah. So you're going to do this without touching the potatoes. And you're going to put the lid over it. Hopefully it's not touching. Just pull it taut best you can. Okay. And that's going to try to absorb some of that moisture. And you're going to have to cook this on high for 4 to 5 hours, or low 7 to 8. And then what we'll do is we'll add the last of the cheese after 2 or 3 hours. We only added, I think, how much do we add? We added a cup in the sauce. So I have an appointment today. So I'm going to get this to cook, and then when I get back, should be ready for the rest of the cheese, and that'll be it. So let's go over it again. High 4 to 5 hours, or low 7 to 8. Okay, I'll see you back here in a few. Okay, y'all. So this is the end of the day, and these cooked out perfectly. I did stir them real quick, and now I'm gonna just put the last of the cheese on them. It's really hot, so I'm thinking that just a few minutes with the lid on, it should be fine, and this will be all melted. So I just put it on high, and it cooked for 5 hours. I'm back from my appointment, and it's completely done. The paper towel that you put on top of it was literally saturated. So you definitely need to do that to soak up some of the moisture. But I think this is going to be great. And it'll hopefully give us an alternative to a boxed au gratin potato or a scalloped potato. Okay, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.